Are you a business owner stuck in fear, doubt, and worry about what the marketplace will look like in the future? Then this show is for you. Strap on your seatbelt and get ready to disrupt and innovate. Here's your host, Lisa Levy.
Today's guest is Brittany Hansen, a powerhouse tech entrepreneur, wife, and mom of 4. As the co-founder of a successful SaaS company built without venture capital, she's been blazing a trail in Idaho's growing tech scene while navigating the complexities of fundraising, scaling, and team building with heart. With a deep passion for sustainability, marketing, and innovation in premium industries, from fashion to agriculture, she's driving meaningful change at the intersection of business, brand, and responsibility. Brittany, welcome to the conversation.
Lisa, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here today.
I am so excited to hear more about all of the things that you do, but start with what you're doing today and why it's important now.
Absolutely. So what we're really trying to do is remastermind communication. Everybody knows communication is broken right now. And it's not because there's not enough information out there. It's because there's so much information out there. And we know most of it we can't trust. Even ChatGPT, right? We all love ChatGPT. Like, joke, he's my boyfriend. He keeps me on track during the day. But he is only as good as the information I feed him and that everybody else does. So what happens is we have a tremendous thirst for truth and no good way of knowing if the information that we're receiving is truthful or not. And it's damaging companies' relationships with their consumers. Like, think my favorite example is there's a fake lash company out there who put their lashes out, and someone released a video on YouTube on how they use them, which is not the way that the company would have you use them, because they were doing layers and using carpet glue to use layers on their for their eyelashes. But that's user generated content, and all it takes is a couple of really bad experiences of someone having to destroy you as a company. And we know, I mean, there's greenwashing out there, and there's just any number of ways that we're not receiving good information. And so we know we need to tie information back to the source, which is often a company or a government, and then hold that source accountable for the truth they did or did not deliver. The other problem with communication is, and this is especially true in America, we don't make the best information available to everyone. And available isn't even the same as accessible. 20% of America doesn't speak English at home. But our response when someone doesn't have good information is, well, they should learn English. Great. How will we empower people to do that? Without the best information, you can't make the best decision. And so that's really what Vision is about. That's what we're doing. And that's how we're trying to disrupt things, is giving away to give good, trusted information in multiple languages.
And oh my gosh, there's so much in there. There's so much in there. I'm going to start with carpet glue on your eyes. Really?
Right? I think people will do a lot of things for beauty. I mean, we know that. We inject all kinds of things and we try all kinds of things. But yeah, carpet glue on your eyelashes to hold them on for all night. And then I didn't even finish watching it. I don't know if you dissolve it by putting acetone on your eyes or what you're supposed to do.
Ew, but again, YouTube, right? End user, customer created content. It's out there for all brands in all sorts of different ways. And we have zero control over what that is. And oftentimes the scariest stuff is probably the things that actually go viral. And what that means to a brand can be devastating.
Yeah. Especially if they don't know where to go to actually look for the truth. Like, how am I supposed to do this?
Okay. So then there's the other word that you used so lovingly throughout that, truth. In this day and age, and I'll speak right, let's keep it, we can keep it America centric if we want to, but truth, does it exist anymore?
So I do think there are things that are open for interpretation. I'm a very philosophical person. I understand that there are ethical and moral dilemmas and that we feel differently about lots of things. That doesn't mean there's not truth. As someone who majored in psychology and marketing, I understand the art of spinning things and the art of connecting. But there is truth. And much of that is just the facts, right? The facts of what a business is doing. We've cut our plastic or our carbon consumption by 20%. Did you? Or did you just buy carbon credits? Or did you stop using plastic, but you started using paper straws that have forever chemicals in them? And the green part is just really just one thing. I mean, we all remember several years ago when Nestle got in trouble for using child labor in their chocolate. Some of that is just because those businesses didn't know where to look for truth. And should they have checked? Yes, but we have to reward truth as it comes along. But also, um, there's something to be said even for businesses and people in sharing your truth and allowing people to connect with your truth, right? The facts are that how I run my business with my co-founder is we're fairly flat, and we try to bring lots of voices to the table and lots of different kinds of people. That's our truth. And if you resonate with that, we want to hear from you. We probably want to do business with you, right? It might not be some other business's truth, but it is ours. And so there is still truth to be told and shared, even on that level.
And I appreciate the distinction, truth and your truth. And so one of the examples I like to play with, right, is perspective and what you see in a moment, right? You're in a crowded space and you're standing on the east wall and I'm standing on the south wall, and something happens and we both watch it and we both see it from very different perspectives. And what I describe will be very different from what you describe, but it's the same incident.
Yes.
Neither of us are wrong, right? But the right, the whole truth is the combination of what you saw, what I saw, and what any other
Actually
number of
happened.
people actually saw to get to what happened. And that doesn't make me right or wrong, you right or wrong. Perspective influences what we see and then our truth.
It absolutely does. And that's part of the reason we always want to bring lots of people to our table at our business, because perspective is so important. And we're a global company. We trade in lots of other countries at this point. And so, to your point, there's perspectives of all the people who are in the room. And then there's the perspectives of people who are outside. The way that I do business in Japan, for instance, is entirely different than the way I will do it here, because the perception of the things that I do will be different there. So often, though, the truth is a conglomeration, right? It's not A or B, it's C. The right answer is C. And without a good way of gathering information, sometimes we don't know what the truth is either. And lots of companies don't want to know how they're perceived, don't actually want to know, it's as long as we're for the lowest cost, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. And that's actually not true. As millennials and Gen Zers are rising up, we're seeing that they will jump to a more expensive company because they feel their values align with that company. So your company truth matters more now than maybe it ever has before.
And that's a really nice point, right? That value alignment is different, and it's different generationally. And what I, as a Gen Xer, find valuable versus what my kids in Gen Z are so very different. At the heart, there's some themes that probably pull through, but how we see it and how we respond is very, very, very different. Would you tell me a story? You were talking about how you conduct yourself in different countries with business, right? The perspective and how that impacts. Would you tell us a story about an interaction with a client outside of the US where you did something that would probably not play well here? Give us a
So
different perspective.
absolutely. So recently we went on a trade mission with US Commerce, and we went down to Latin America. Latin America is a lot different than here. And what we were really blessed with is a really great interpreter who was able to help us with the situation. So we went into things very warm and very excited, and everyone in Latin America, and we were in Argentina at this point, was also very warm. But what we didn't realize is that, and they had kind of told us this, but as they were getting excited, we got excited too, and we got prepared to push everything forward. And what we didn't realize is you have to go kind of slow with people in Latin America. It's very relationship based, which is great because we're great with relationships, but and gratefully, there wasn't any real damage done. They understood that we were Americans. We sent a follow-up email and told them how excited we are for new friends, and they were excited too. And we spent extra time with them while we were down there. But it's those little things that you don't understand. Even when we were in the Netherlands, and we had been told everyone in the Netherlands is so polite and so lovely. They are. But it's much different than here. They're extremely polite, but they're, in our experience, They were polite, but not overly friendly, which was just a difference in terms. It's easy to misunderstand each other if you don't spend the time to really understand what someone else is doing, what's important to them. For instance, in the platform that we've developed, we can sense the language of a person's phone and deliver information in that language. But what we also do is allow for image changes because there are places in the world where the imagery we would use here is not socially acceptable. For instance, in the UAE, women should be dressed differently than in the ads here and the information here. And you have to know those things in order to maneuver those situations appropriately. How grateful I am that the world is a very forgiving and kind place because we haven't made any massive faux pas, but the opportunity is there to do that.
So I am a big believer in the idea that there's elegance in simplicity. And what you were just describing about your platform being aware of the language of the device that it's delivering content to and changing imagery and language to meet that customer on their terms is so incredibly simple. I'm sure not necessarily technically easy to do. But talk to us more about the platform. What is it and how does it work?
Yeah, I would love to. So what I just spoke to you about is actually what one of our patents is on, because we wanted to remain GDPR compliant so that we could be distributed across the world. So we have created a way to go in on the back end of your phone, sense the home language of your phone, and deliver the information that you're looking for in the home language of your phone. Because, like you said, there's elegance and simplicity. If people have to select their language, you're not a language first platform. Your information is available to them, it's not easily accessible to them, and you've created friction in the process. So, by automatically delivering it, you've immediately connected with your customer. And our platform is designed, really, like I said, as a means of communication. People who come onto our platform, businesses, governments who come onto our platform have to be prepared to communicate with their clients in a different way. And this is the way really that marketing is going anyway. Websites are built for SEO. They're not built for direct communication with a customer. Social media is built for addiction and algorithms. It is not built for your customer. In fact, your customer is probably really annoyed that you interrupt their doom scrolling with your ads. So, what we have really built is a way for customers to engage with businesses in their terms, in their language at the time that they're ready through QR codes or links. We do it in both ways. And the experience is completely designed for the business. We fade into the background. It's not about us. It's about giving you a way to communicate with your customer. And we do everything from just providing the platform and the language for you and your customer to helping you architect the appropriate information between you and your customer. And that can look like videos or audio, GIFs, just about anything that you need. But we can make it all adaptable so that your consumer can have the experience that they want with you and then make that experience digital and repeatable so that they can share it.
So in that a couple of things that you said, right? This is a customer centric language first platform that removes friction.
Yes.
So, audience members, things that I heard in that statement, right? This is about the experience of the customer. It is not about you, the brand of the business. It is about giving the customer what they need on their terms and taking them on their journey with you. That is fabulous approach. So many companies forget first and foremost that customers are the center of our business universe. Without them, we don't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also love in that you're talking about some of your customers are governments, right? That there are places out there, government bodies that want to ensure that they are communicating directly with, in this case, I would use the word constituents or the population in a way that they are getting the right message across and not just any message. That is a huge departure from the social media world where it's sort of shotgun in it, forget it, and let your boyfriend chat GPT do the lift
Right.
and not really care if it's actually connecting or back to the earlier thought, if it's actually true.
Right. Well, and so much of it is about who can scream the loudest or who has the most money to spend. Nobody wants to go home with the loudest guy at the party. Like, that's not what people are looking for, and if you don't communicate with people the way they want to be communicated with, they'll leave.
And thank you for making that very personal, right? Because we do have a lot of loud voices, and they are shouting literally from the rooftops, and it's loud, and it's been droning on now for a while, and it's hard to hear. To make that we nobody does wanna go home with the loudest guy at the party or loudest person at the party because they are typically obnoxious.
And a narcissist, right? And nobody wants to be with a narcissist, and we create narcissistic brands that are like, "You should care about us because we're us." That's not how that relationship works.
Yeah. And it is always about what value does a customer or a client have from said product or service, and hearing that voice of that customer coming back and presenting back to them on your platform in direct communication on the terms in which that individual wants to be communicated with and the language that they actually speak and use. What a rich experience.
Thank you. We're incredibly proud of it and excited by it. We do a lot with nonprofits because we feel so passionately about getting people the right language. It's the funniest story. I was a stay at home mom for 13 years. I left college to raise special needs kids, and I was traveling with my sister in law, and we were at a zoo, and we noticed a family who was Spanish speaking, and they had their little boy. He couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 years old, and he was trying to translate for mom and dad all the things the zookeepers were saying, what the signage said, this little tiny boy. And we thought, surely there has to be a better way for that to take place. Surely this is not the best that we have to offer people. And as we looked into it, we found out, gosh, it is. There's no other answer. We got looking into it and worked with some really talented people, and we're able to come up with, in about a year, an easy way of fixing it and to patent it, because life shouldn't be that way. People should be able to access the education that they need, and we feel very passionate about that. Language is a big piece. We're very fortunate in America. We don't always know how fortunate we are, but we're 95% of the purchasing base is outside of America. And we need to be speaking and thinking on global levels.
Perspective again, right? And looking from, in this case, looking from the inside out and understanding where we sit and the influence and impact that we have globally. And while as consumers it's all about what's in it for me, but as providers it's what do our customers want and need from us. Brittany, thank you for telling a little bit about the origin story and where this came from. We've talked about the platform and what you're offering to your customers, but talk to us a little bit more about, growing from an idea to a patent to an actual business that's growing and thriving. The entrepreneurial journey is a big one for the audience.
Yeah. It has been quite a ride. So we've actually been in business a little over 7 years now, and we refuse to take any venture money because we wanted to own our business. We wanted to be able to make the impact that we said we were going to make. So we bootstrapped everything in the beginning. My husband and I first were the first investors. We paid for the patent and the first several paychecks for our team. And from there, we were so excited because we're like, look at this amazing thing that we've built. And it takes more than a good idea. Good ideas die every single day. We learned that as we tried to market this, and as we kind of tried first and foremost to go sort of the nonprofit route. And it ended up that if you want to play the game, you have to play at least initially by the rules. And so we had to find the ways to talk about ourselves in a way that made sense to business. And gratefully, what we're doing is very business savvy. Also, what it looked like, we have 80 private investors who we all have a one-on-one relationship with, who believe in our message. It has also meant that we've had to grow differently than other businesses. We didn't have a $40 million runway when we started. We didn't have anything like that. We had to get real scrappy. We had to find other scrappy people who believed in what we're doing and really assemble just an all-star team of people who said, "Yeah, we want to eat, sleep, and breathe this. This is what we want to do because the meaning is so deep and powerful." And then we found really the right alliances. US commercial service has been amazing for us as we've expanded globally. They've done business matchmaking for us in so many countries. I mean, at the end of the month, we're going to Japan. We've been all over the world with them. And I would encourage, if you are in business, so you know, software is an export. So do reach out to the U.S. Commercial Service. They can help you in unbelievable ways. And also, don't let anyone dissuade you from what you're trying to do. There is money out there that's easy to get. And if that's all you're after, you can have it. But nothing comes for free. Nothing comes without a sacrifice. If you choose to take that easy money, somebody else gets to call the shots about what you do with your business. Somebody else gets to define your message. And I promise you, getting up at 5 a.m. every day and going to bed at 11 p.m. every day is not worth it for somebody else's vision.
Absolutely. And that is a powerful, powerful statement. And thank you for the explanation of the bootstrapping journey, which is one of absolute passion. If you've piqued the interest and curiosity from the audience, how do they learn more and connect with you, Brittany, or learn more about the platform?
I would love to hear from anyone. The easiest way to find us is on our website, which is vision.com, and it's VIIISION. So there's 3 I's in there. You can always chat with me on LinkedIn. And it is me. I don't have like a personal assistant or a bot who answers those emails. So please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just Brittany.A or Brittany-A on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect with you and talk to you about how we could help you take your business global, or just how you architect your information to be more successful here in the United States.
Absolutely fabulous. The links will be in the show notes, so it's easy for the audience for you guys to find it. Brittany, thank you so much for taking us on the journey today and talking about the power of truth and controlling what is true and how we respect our brands and create the ability to communicate directly with our consumers. Because what's true for you may not be true for me, but if we find the common truth and the thing that we both align on, that is the most powerful and impactful form of communication that we can get. We've learned and had a nice reminder from Brittany that tying information to the source is how we actually can verify what's real, and the platform will help you do that for your business to your customers. I love the fact and the story that you shared about being in the Netherlands and the difference between politeness and friendliness, right? Words matter, and how we show up polite may end up actually potentially being somewhat rude if they're not engaging in a friendly manner, and what that relationship feels like to us versus others is really very different. I love that the platform was built from the beginning to be GDPR compliant so that you can work everywhere in the world and know that it's safe and the data and the information is secure. A 7-year journey bootstrapping is a huge success. Congratulations. So many companies that bootstrap don't make it through year 1, let alone to year 5. That's a fabulous growth journey that you're on. And audience members, you know my rules. Don't get left behind. Join me next time. Brittany, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of Disrupt and Innovate. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show.